Okay, my first step on my battery operated drill. I'm just going to undo these screws up here. And I'm going to flop this hinge back. And if you have to, you can wiggle the door, and it came right off. Sometimes they don't come off that easy. Sometimes the backside of this paint, if it's not cured, could stick to the backside of that. And you're there and you're thinking, how come it's not coming off? You might have to take a little screwdriver behind here and pry up on it, or hold your mouth just right, kind of wiggle the door a little bit. But eventually you should be able to get that off. The main thing is you don't want to try to break off any of the door jamb as you're trying to rip this off. Okay, so that's the first step. Now I'm gonna try to keep the camera on, and I just want you to see I'm taking a small little drill bit, a little bit smaller than my actual screw. I'm taking some 2.5 inch drywall screws, coarse thread. Oh, you know what? This is the wrong drill bit. Good grief. That was for doing something different with some different screws, so I got to find my other drill bit. Just letting the camera run. I'm using an 1/8 inch drill bit because I got to drill a hole for these coarse threaded drywall screws. Okay, I always want to do that. You don't want to just put a screw in there and think you're going to ram it in there and put the drill on low, and you've got one of those hammer drills. You think, oh, I'm just going to ram it in there. I'm not going to get about drilling it. Well, I always drill it because first off, I've got to get it into the wood 2x4 behind there, and your wood 2x4s, they could be 30 years old. You know, depending on how old your house is. And have you ever tried to screw a screw into a hard piece of wood? It's almost impossible without stripping the head off. So now I'm going to drill 2 holes. You know, one down low in here, one up here. Kind of close to the edge, but not too close, because I want to get the head of the screw in there too. And I'm going to just put this in at a just slight little bit of an angle. I don't want to drill straight. I could hit the edge of the stud up next to the sheetrock. And so I'm going to drill right there. I've got it on high. I'm going to put it on a slight angle, so I know for sure I'm going to get it right onto the 2x4. And I can feel the 2x4 right there. So now I'm going to just keep drilling. Same thing up here. Now I can take that out, put my other attachment on here. I use the magnetic, it's an extension with a magnetic tip holder. I can slip it in and out. I can just take little Phillips. You can get different sizes, put it in there, whatever you got. Okay. Now I'm going to take my screws and just push them in there. You can see what I'm trying to do is take this section of the door jamb from here to here and kind of push it back further towards the 2x4s where it should be. I don't have to do it too much. You saw it. I don't have to raise it up that much, but I'm going to drive this all the way in. Stick your drill on low. Get it in there nice and snug as a bug in a rug. You want to make sure, see that one, the head's sticking out from the jamb just a bit. I want to go a little bit further. I'm hoping that I don't break the head off or anything. Wow. It's like not wanting to go all the way. Try it again. Okay. Put the next one in there. I can see that it's already pushing. I can see the little nail head right there. And I don't think I have to push it in. Lots of times I try to put 2 screws in here, but there's a nail right there, and I know the shim is right there, and it's up nice and tight because I can see I'm pushing it, and I don't think I'm going to need this top screw. Okay, most of the time I'll put 2 screws in, but this time I think I'm not. I got my just a flat putty knife. I'm going to put it over that, tap on it. Just want that nail flush. I'm not going to concern myself if I can see it slightly because it's going to be repainted. Got a nail set here. I can just tap it just a little. May have to put a little caulking over that before the painters come. Got that one on there in the bottom. Now I'm going to put this back on. I've still got it on low. I want to put it on low here. And I'm going to use my drill. But I try not to over tighten it with this because then I'll start spinning these and then that's going to keep this from being tight. Then you'd have to go through a big huge process of taking the door down, pre-drilling, putting in longer screws. I did that the other day. And if you haven't watched that video, I would highly suggest you look at it. Okay, there, see there? Looks like pretty good. And I'm going to end up doing the same thing to this next hinge. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to keep the camera rolling. I want you to see what I see. I'm going to take this off the tripod and I'm just going to see what happened. Oops, sorry about that. I said I was going to leave the camera on, and as I hung on to it, I accidentally shut it off. Okay, I have not checked this yet. I'm just going to get up there. You're going to see what I see. I've only adjusted that one hinge so far. I think I'm going to have to do that one there too. Yeah, see, it hasn't really raised up very much, has it? That's because right here at this door jamb behind there wasn't any, there's hardly any slop. In behind here, they've got a shim in there. The shim's tight, and I still got that gap there, don't I? This gap has receded a little bit. Oh, I know I got to get this just a little bit closer. In fact, you see what's happening here. I may have to take that. I think I'm going to have to take that screw back out of there because this gap was big. Remember, my concern was that it could get actually even bigger here, even by pushing it over. Because see how this big gap is? That's about what the size was up at the top. But see now at the top, it's less. That's about perfect what I want. But if you stand back from there down to about there, this section of the door jamb has pushed in and created this gap even bigger. So I'm not going to be able to do it that way on this particular door. And you're going to be able to see the trick that I do, that I was talking about, that I may have to do on this door. Now, how did I know that? I didn't know that other than a little deduction on what I've seen happen in the past. Okay. And so, yes, I'm going to make the effort. I'm going to take that screw out of there. And that's going to relax this section of the door jamb. A lot of times this does not happen. 90% of the time, I don't have that issue when I screw something in. Lots of times the gap is kind of small between that and the door edge, and you push it back and it works just fine. In this case, not so much. And see, you thought you knew exactly what I was going to do on this particular video, didn't you? Yeah. Well, you're going to see something different today. Okay. Take that. So I'm going to take this screw out. Remember, I was having a hard time putting that in. The tip of it was actually sticking out, and generally that's not the case. When there's enough slop in there, you can get this head in there, and sometimes I can sink it in 1/8 of an inch even before I feel like it's nice and tight. put this back. I do it kind of nice and easy. After a while, you get the hang of using a battery-operated hand drill on your control here. You can do it. Because you can't really tell when it's tight sometimes on this, and you press it a little bit too much and you like, oops, and then you just started spinning the screw, you know. That's why I take my screwdriver and I'll tighten them up. I see this top one, this top screw, I can twist it, and that's not good. See there? I can twist and twist and twist. So I know I didn't just do that. It was like that before. But I'm going to have to put a long screw in there. And I'll show you how to do that too, but I know I have to take this door down. So I'll be able to take care of it. Well, actually, see, lots of times the door swings up against a wall, you know? And if it does, the door would only open up about like that. I can't get my drill in there, but because these doors are not like that, I could fix it like that, okay? If I didn't have to take the door down. Right? I'm gonna end up taking the door down, but before I do that, I'll just show you on the outside. That should have relaxed this a little bit. Hopefully I don't shut the camera off on you this time. Okay, now you see how that relaxed. Look at the gap from there and look all the way up to the top. See how there's the gap is nice and wide again? That's because I took that out, and just that little bit, it's allowed this little bit of the door jamb to kind of relax and come back into place. And the gap, you know, the gap down here is fine up to about here. Then it starts getting just slightly bigger and bigger yet up there and up to there. And I know I've got to get the door moved over that way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We've already decided this door is not going to go that way. And you saw how I put that screw in there. That didn't even move, that did it? Because there's some shims in there, and it's just not going to go any further. Okay? Maybe this door jamb was up tight. Maybe there's no shims over there. Maybe it's up fairly tight to the 2x4. Now, we don't know. Okay, so my next step, this is going to be tricky. Okay, you ready for this?